Hey guys, my brother and I were watching Steve Harvey on Oprah. It was back when he was promoting his book, Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man. I read the book. I thought it was very, very well informed, and my brother agreed with a lot of the stuff that Steve Harvey said, which made me think he got a very accurate idea of the male perspective, added the fact that he is a man. And on the show, they had women around asking Steve Harvey for love advice, and it was very obvious watching it that a lot of women had very kind of interesting, I'll say interesting, that's a nice word, interesting views on love and romance and trying to find a good man. And, the whole thing about intimidation. And one of the women who came on the show was a youngish woman, I say like maybe 20s into 30s, slightly overweight, African American, nice complexion. She was still pretty, but she was a little bit overweight. And she was listing her 40 requirements for a man to have before she's in a relationship with him or for her perfect man. And she started listing them off. Her requirements. It was African American, dark skinned, tall, about 6'2" or taller, athletic build, millionaire, spiritual, dedicated to loving her, dances, doesn't smoke, doesn't drink, or if he does drink, very minimal. Wants kids, at least two, and a variety of other things. I'll post a link so you guys can see the video for yourself. And watching that video, I think a lot of the times, like, my brother's watching the thing, he's just thinking, men don't have lists that long, or maybe sometimes they don't even have lists at all. I mean, they have priorities, things that they want in a woman, but they don't have a whole 40 list of requirements. He said his number one requirement, his two requirements were someone with a nice personality and someone who was intelligent. And I think that sometimes we confuse what we need and what we want in a partner. And reading a lot of books, I don't think this is accurate. I'm not a relationship. I didn't do any statistics, but this is just my assumption. Men out there, you can correct me. I have come to like this little conclusion that perfection is boring to a man, whereas perfection is something that every woman wants in their like spouse. We all think of like our perfect man and we want like this peace, tranquil life, whereas men, they don't really, perfection is boring to them. I think they would get tired of a Stepford wife. It's someone that they would marry but not necessarily like passionately love like that. But they don't really have that whole perfection thing. Perfection is kind of boring to them. Whereas with women, we strive for that perfection in our men. And that's of any race, any nationality. We all want to find someone who's good for us. And, he was talking about how all she thinks that she wants is perfect guy, who is basically a fantasy. The perfect man for her exists, but she doesn't know it. He brought up the point a lot of women have good men, but don't know it because they don't fit everything that they like. You think that certain women have such high expectations that no man can really accomplish those things. And I don't think that having expectations are a bad thing. I have my own, of course. But people have to realize that fiction is fiction and reality is reality. If you're going to spend your entire life waiting for, Mr. Darcy or Edward Cullen or Jacob Black, you're going to be alone for a long time because those men don't exist. They are figments of other women's imaginations. And that's not a good idea to get your hopes up for. And like Steve Harvey said that lists aren't a bad thing, so it's okay to have them. But my whole thing is that you have to know what you need in a spouse or partner or anyone, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever you want to call it, girlfriend, whatever. What you need in that partner and what you want in that partner are two different things. Needs are things that you really can't bend with, but the needs are sometimes less than the wants. We combine the two to the point where we have a long list and we don't really know which one we want. And what I've come to realize is that we can imagine the perfect guy in our head. We can imagine what we're going to look like, taste like, smell like, all that stuff. But when we actually meet the person that we fall for, there's sometimes not any of those things. They are completely different because love takes you by surprise that way. Now, I'm not a romantic person, but I am open to love in whatever form it comes in, man, woman, tall, short, I accept that as a fact of reality, that it's one of those undetermined things. And Steve Harvey said it's alright to have lists. So I literally thought here, I made my list. It's not even I think I have just over 10, and it's like it's 3 needs and the rest of them are just wants. And I don't know. In the top, I have Princess and Lex Luthor. I love him. He's the best. I think he's my ideal. You shouldn't base your ideals on fictional comic book characters, by the way. So, now I was thinking about it. What do I need in a partner? What do I want in a partner? I figured out what I need in a partner is someone who's intellectual, open-minded, and dependable. My views is like, if someone is smart and open-minded to new things, no matter what else we might not have in common, we can work it out. We can find common ground, common boundaries. Common things that we like. Because if we're attracted to each other, there must be things that we have in common, or else we wouldn't have an attraction. And if we find out we don't, we can make new things, discover new things about ourselves. Dependability is just something I know no matter what I do in life, I can depend on my father. And I want someone who I can depend on in a relationship, and who can depend on me. This is another thing that Steve probably brought up. You cannot ask a man to be anything that you yourself cannot be. And I think that's something else. Like, women want these smart, rich, gorgeous men, and they themselves are not any of those things. And not to say that looks are an important thing all the time, but you cannot hold someone to this high criteria of attractiveness while you yourself cannot even reach that criteria. You know what I'm saying? You cannot be me and then want Brad Pitt and think you deserve Brad Pitt. And Brad Pitt's with Angelina Jolie, who's on his level, and I'm on my level where I'm at. You can't do that. You know, you're not at that point. And not to say he couldn't find you attractive in different ways, but if you have decided that you deserve this, you deserve that man completely and utterly, then you're just damning yourself and missing out on a lot of great men who are not Brad Pitt. Those are like the needs I have, and I can be dependable. And wants are just little silly things that really aren't that important. Like, I put something I want a man, someone who's a dork or a nerd. Like, I'm not like, I'm a nerd. I'm a dork. Therefore, a dork or a nerd would be perfect for me. So all you dorks right there, you're great. Someone who likes Batman. I don't like Superman, I like Batman. Who leans to the left politically. I'm not a hardcore Democrat, but I'm pretty much left. I can't stand Sarah Palin. Can't do it, no. I mean, if you're a Republican and you like McCain, it's great. I cannot be with a Republican who likes Palin or Ann Coulter. Can't do it. It's not a need, but I want that. I could be flexible if I really like you. But you gotta be really hot. There you go. Enjoy spicy and hot food, because I'm West Indian. I got Jamaican and St. Lucian in me and all kinds of other stuff. We like our food hot, and I know how to cook. Most of my food is very spicy, so if you don't like spicy food, kind of gonna be a little hard there. Leans towards Marvel and the Marvel DC thing. Like, I'm a Marvel and a Vertigo. I don't really, DC is good, but it's like Marvel and Vertigo. Vertigo is the best. Has goals. That's the other part. And taller than me. Like, I don't, like, this is the thing. 6'2", no, I don't need that. Just taller than me. I'm 5'4". If you're shorter than me and you're great, it doesn't matter, but taller than me would be nice. Dislikes Twilight. That's always a plus. Enjoys giving presents. And has a taste for world domination. So basically, it's almost Lex Luthor. But yeah, those are like the things I need and want. And the wants are all flexible things that don't really matter, and the needs are important. And yeah, I think we have to prioritize, what we need, what we want, and realize that we can write a 40, line list about something that what we want, and half of it will be superficial. It's personality that really matters most of the time. Even though I have taller than me, it doesn't matter in the long run. You can fall in love with anyone, but you don't fall. When you see someone, you like them first for their appearance, and but then you love them for their personality. And we have to realize that someone can be beautiful, they can be gorgeous, they can be the most beautiful person you've ever seen in your life, and be a total cunt, be a total bastard. And we are in a media world where we secretly root for the bastard, but then we don't make that split between reality and fiction. That in the real world, those people aren't the people you want to be around. In fiction, you can like them, think they're cool, love Blair Waldorf, Chuck Bass, and everything. But in the real world, those are not people that you want to be around. They're parasites.